LMPD is getting a top-to-bottom review from an outside agency. And this morning, we're learning more about the folks behind it.
We have law degrees, we have PhDs, we've got chiefs, we've got folks that work in law enforcement.
We are looking at the relationships between police officers and with individual neighborhoods.
We've all been on COVID watch within ourselves and our families for months. And now, COVID, flu, and allergy seasons are about to hit at once.
Now trying to manage what the symptoms that you're seeing, what the symptoms that you're familiar with, what to expect in these unknown times.
We're getting some medical advice on determining which is which when you wake up not feeling your best. Southern Indiana restaurants are teaming up for a burger week this week. They have some tasty plans, and they hope it'll give a much-needed jolt to some local businesses during these tough economic times.
Creating this concept is extremely important to all of us to ensure the well-being of our futures.
And October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So our Fast Facts today highlight the importance of screening and early detection, and celebrate how far we've come in the fight against this disease.
Don't give up. Through it all, just stand up. It's like we all
Thank you so much for waking up with us on this Sunday. It's going to be a little bit of a rainy Sunday. We have some of the remnants of Delta that could be hitting us throughout the day. Reed's going to tell us when we should expect that and what to expect in just a minute. But first, though, we do want to get through some of your top headlines. Starting with authorities in Spencer County needing your help finding a man who they say stole a truck and crashed it yesterday morning. They say it happened around 5:30 in the morning. The sheriff's office says it was stolen out of Nelson County, and they found it abandoned at Taylorsville Lake State Park, rammed into the side of the restrooms like you can see in this picture. Now, deputies say it tore up the vending machines there, and they got the money out of those vending machines. So if you know anything, call the Spencer County or the Nelson County Sheriff's offices. We're learning more about the process behind the review of LMPD. A consulting firm called Hillard Hentz is doing this review, and yesterday they talked about their plans. They want to look at the relationships between officers and the neighborhoods they serve.
Community policing has to be a philosophy that is interwoven in everything that all of my officers do, not just the people that are in that division.
Now, the team isn't investigating the Breonna Taylor case specifically. They say they're focusing on the police department as a whole. They're hoping to be done by the end of the year, and they say that their findings will be public. And protesters are calling for AG Daniel Cameron to be fired. A large group marched yesterday from Tyler Park through the Highlands and ending up at Jefferson Square Park. Urban League CEO Sadiqa Reynolds was one of those marchers.
We don't require people to be perfect in order to guarantee them constitutional rights. There are no perfect police officers, but they have their constitutional rights, and they still have the right to due process. Where was Breonna's due process?
Now, Reynolds says that this fight isn't over, and she's going to keep pushing for change. All right, welcoming in Reed now for the forecast. And Reed, like I said off the top, we've been waiting for the remnants of Delta to get here, but what you're saying is it's been breaking up as it's been getting closer, so we should have a little bit of a drier day than we thought we might.
Indeed. When we deliver a little better than what we thought, nobody's mad at us. Right now, we're dealing with the remnants. You can see them here behind me. And what you see is basically most of this is just light to maybe occasionally moderate rain. Any heavier rain is well off to the east. Everything was pulling away to the northeast. It's going to be out of here, I think, by noontime, early afternoon. What we have now is very light rain in the area for the most part. And in western parts of the viewing area, focus in a little closer here, they're done. They're not dealing with any rain here. They have some lingering clouds. In fact, they may get a little bit of sun today, as a matter of fact. So what we're looking at, the rains that we have this morning are going to be departing, diminishing, if you will. And that means today it'll be a little drier, a whole lot drier than what we were expecting. This whole thing has underperformed. Temperatures in the mid-60s right now, hanging at 67 at both airports. We'll be in the 60s this morning with a few showers or very light rain. Keywords here, showers diminishing and ending this afternoon. We'll say mid-upper 70s in the viewing area. Tomorrow, how about 80 degrees? I'll detail what's ahead in the next week coming up. Also, A story later on in the newscast. Rob, I looked over your scripts. You won't believe this story. I'm just going to say this bud's for you. That's all I'm going to say, but you won't believe the story when you see it. I'll see you in 15 minutes.
All right, Reed, I think I know what you're talking about. It is a pretty good story. All right, looking ahead to your week. A judge says that this week he expects to issue a ruling in the case of the JCPS tax hike. Your ballot in this election will ask you whether you're for or against a 7-cent tax increase to support JCPS students. But a judge is going to decide if those votes on those ballots are even going to count here. So those against the increase say the JCPS board violated the law when it levied the new tax more than 3 months before the property assessment was certified in August. The district argues that that law doesn't apply to local school boards, though. Superintendent Dr. Marty Polio says that the extra revenue would be used to update the schools in the district and possibly build some new ones. It would also help close gaps in technology and racial inequity in the district. If passed, it would generate about $51 million extra each year for the district. Starting tomorrow, MSD is asking you to avoid some parts of the downtown area. They're limiting lanes on East Broadway between South Floyd and South Jackson as they work on a sewer line project. They're also restricting where you can turn and cross those streets. And on Thursday, USA Cares is hosting a virtual gala to raise money to help veterans in our area. They're working with a company to broadcast the event on YouTube and on Facebook Live. Now, normally, hundreds of people would go to this gala, but since it's virtual this year, anyone can go. And the tickets are free. But USA Cares is hoping to raise money with live auctions and bourbon raffles. The money raised here will help veterans in our area who are struggling right now, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or financially.
Every little bit counts, and they need your help more than ever right now. COVID-19 has created several challenges for all of us, and right now veterans especially are struggling.
So we have a link to where you can get tickets on WHAS11.com. The deadline to request your absentee ballot just passed Friday night, so now we have the official number of how many people plan to vote by mail in Kentucky. 658,068 people requested an absentee ballot in Kentucky. Miranda Combs from the Secretary of State's office tweeted out that number yesterday, saying the final ballot was requested about 30 seconds before midnight when applications were due. More than 1,000 backpacks filled with school supplies are going to students in need in Jefferson County. Employees from GE Appliances teamed up with Metro United Way to put those backpacks together on Friday. The company does a volunteer project every fall, so this year they modified their event so they could still do it while staying safe.
We've been creative all year of how do we meet the needs of customers, so we need to do the same thing. How do we meet the needs of our community in a way we can, keeping people safe, but getting out there and giving back.
Volunteers also helped with a donation drop-off for clothes, food, and household items. And Down Syndrome of Louisville says they've raised about $65,000 for their Walk on Wheels event this month. It's a drive-through parade and scavenger hunt. Yesterday, the organization held its fall festival where they sold some stuff in a yard sale style to raise money for the walk.
We really appreciate the support. We've been having virtual programming, throughout the summer and throughout the pandemic for our members, and it still costs money to do that. We still have to have staff to do that, and so just like all the other nonprofits, we need support, and we appreciate everybody coming out and helping us out.
Walk on Wheels will take place on October 25th. That's 2 weeks from today. Their goal is to raise $200,000.
We're super excited for everyone to come out, support these restaurants in this challenging time, and really come out strong after everything is over.
Southern Indiana restaurants are teaming up for Burger Week this week. They hope you'll find it delicious, and they hope it'll bring a much-needed jolt to local businesses.
Here are your Kentucky Lottery jackpot totals this morning. The Mega Millions, $69 million. Kentucky's Powerball, $72 million.
The Kentucky Lottery, providing over $3.8 billion in grants and scholarships.
If you're voting by mail in Indiana and you're feeling nervous that your ballot won't make it safely to the county election officials, here's an important heads up. You can track the status of your absentee ballot each step of the way. Just head to indianavoters.in.gov and scroll down to the bottom of the page and click Visit My Voter Portal. It'll ask you for your name, date of birth, and the county you're registered in. If you've applied to vote absentee by mail, you'll see when the clerk's office received your application, when your ballot was mailed out to you, and if the office has received your completed ballot back.